Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I want you to raise your hand if you start your day with coffee. Okay, now please keep your hand up in the air if actually this morning the first thing you reached out for was not coffee, but your phone. Yeah? Thank you so much. I noticed some of you guys did not even raise your hand, but that's completely fine because you know your screen time report will expose you very soon. You see, for a long time, I thought myself that I started my mornings pretty well. I thought I woke up, had a cup of coffee, contemplated about my life decisions, reflected about the world. Turns out, my phone strongly disagrees with me. Apparently, I don't start my day with coffee or with my thoughts and ideas and reflection. I started purely with screen. Before my brain is fully awake, before my eyes are fully open, I am already scrolling. Emails, what's next? Notifications, announcements on LinkedIn. And speaking of announcements on LinkedIn, I especially love reading the ones about life-changing events that somehow barely even last an hour. Very motivating, truly. You know, and that's when I realize that's where the tension begins. Very early in the day. Not after breakfast, not after class or work, but in the very first blurry seconds of a day. Before you're fully awake, before your eyes fully open, you are already scrolling, right? And the day is already telling you, hey, you should be moving. Not resting, not contemplating, not reflecting, but moving. And that's when I realized something. Us starting our days with our phones is actually not a bad habit at all. Would you agree? It's just a training to make us believe that if we don't move forward, then we are falling behind. I'm 23 years old. I'm graduating from Georgetown University in a few months, which means I am in this strange season of life where everyone keeps asking me the same question. So, what is next? Not casually, like over coffee, but very urgently, like there is a timeline and deadline to it. And don't hesitate, because it's very contagious these days. And suddenly I feel like I'm standing at the edge of something huge, a barrel of adulthood. I look down, and I already can imagine rents, right? What else? Health insurance, figuring out purpose in life, building the family, right? And then I feel this. I'm going back to careers, right? Because that's what's waiting me next. And I noticed that a lot of the job descriptions I've been reading expect me to be a leader, a founder, a change maker with over 20 years of experience and 5 internships and a startup by now. All before I even figured out how to file taxes properly, right? And if I look at the LinkedIn, it doesn't necessarily say, it's okay, Nafisa, take your time. You know, it doesn't quite reassure me in that way. It shouts at me. Look what everyone else has been building. Why are you not moving with them? And that's the tension we're living with today. Because these days, we stopped reflecting about what we're doing, right? Success today doesn't just happen. It is performed. Why? You know, every announcement, every milestone, every achievement, about every thrill to announce, we publicize it. And of course, publishing your success and achievement is not an issue. But when every step forward has to be visible, suddenly, success itself starts to lose meaning. Because it starts to feel less like something you feel and experience and more like something you perform. And if you think that this is just a Gen Z story, then I want to talk to people in their 40s and 50s, if we have any in this room. You know, at some point you look down at generations and said, why are these people always on their phones? Why are they always, scrolling and posting everything? Why are they in this constant rush? And then the next day, I see my grandpa pop up on LinkedIn. But he's not just there, he is actually rocking it. It's an entire package. You go to his profile, his biography is well written. He uses perfectly polished LinkedIn language. All of his experiences, education, everything is well written. And then I asked him, who are you networking with, Grandpa? Bill Gates? You know? But then I can't really blame him because he's just following what everyone else has been doing, which is staying visible. Except for he doesn't call it LinkedIn, he calls it that website where everyone updates about what they've been doing today. And if I think about it, he's not entirely wrong, because that's the tension we're living with today. Today, it feels like we're running in a marathon. Everyone, different shoes, different starting lines, but the same pressure on our chest, right? We're stacking our achievements the way we stack our browser tabs. Open, open, open. And at some point, poor laptop starts overheating. And not because it's broken or not because it stops working, but because it was never meant to carry everything at once. So being ambitious is not a problem. But the problem is that right now, we're confusing the motion with personal growth, and success with, visibility. So I want you to ask yourself these questions, which I've kept on asking myself, last week. When was the last time when you did something, truly you did something, that didn't become a resume headline or a LinkedIn post or something that you announced and flexed in front of everyone, but something that you truly experienced and felt inside you? And my last question to you before I conclude is, if no one was watching you, would you ever choose to do it? Thank you.